Liverpool fans, I think Liverpool fans maybe are a little bit quicker on him than they would be on someone like, say, Carragher or Stevie Gerrard or one of the other lads. No, but my point is that, to be fair...
Is that maybe his running style?
You think that the crowds are quicker on Trent than they were on me?
No.
You are joking.
Carragher, my point is I think there's a greater love towards you, Stevie, Robbie Fowler, than there is to... You know this, by the way. Are you denying this? You don't think there's a... You don't think...
What about Michael Owen? You don't
Jamie, your point. Michael's probably in the same... Michael's in the same sort of sphere as Trent. That basically those two players don't get the same level of love from Liverpool fans.
Where are you getting this from? You've said it's come from
Jamie,
me.
no, sorry, Mike, can I just... Are you trying to make out the lads didn't get sick when they appreciate it?
He's got a big...
When they retired, maybe.
He's got a big mural outside Anfield.
Oh, you've all got fucking murals. Fucking, if you haven't got a mural in Liverpool, you fucking do.
We'll get back to Nev, Carragher and Keno in just a quick second, but remember, if you like this video, please like, share and subscribe. And don't forget to click the notification button so that you know when the next Big D video hits. And as ever, if something is bubbling up inside of you, if you've got something to express, something that you need to put out into the world, please put it in the comments. Big D reads all of the comments and he's always interested in what is on your mind. Anyway, in this clip, the boys are going to be talking about why, potentially, Trent Alexander-Arnold is leaving Liverpool and going to Real Madrid. And Gary Neville makes an interesting point, which the Big D will comment on after the clip, so stick around for that. But have a little look and a little listen, because it is very interesting. Interesting indeed.
I remember listening to you when you come back with... obviously the Valencia stuff, and you spoke to me about how tough some of these away games. I think sometimes there's a feeling in this country that Real Madrid in La Liga, I know they win the league or they go second every year, that they just go to these away games and win 4 and 5 every year. It doesn't happen.
It's so tough.
So this idea that Trent's going to not be asked questions defensively like he is in the Premier League, it's like, honestly, this is a top league. And also, Real Madrid expect to win the Champions League every season. If you go to Bayern Munich in a quarter-final, like your team down with a couple of goals, the heat's going to be on. Yeah. You know, that type of thing. But
it's a
I would have loved to have seen him playing a few weeks ago against Atletico Madrid.
Yeah,
when Real were in that tough games. He'll have huge challenges.
It's a great challenge for him.
Level out of him, though, mightn't it?
No, but that's
the question, man. Well, we don't know. That's the
exactly
question,
what I'm saying,
man.
because like if he's got that, it will shine in that team.
What I love about a player, you're on about having strengths. You're on about a player coming through in your contract. So I like when a player like Trent says, "Jamie, you're on about winning trophies at Liverpool and legacies." I like when players are going, no, my legacy is what I'm going to do. And that's learn a new language, playing it toughly. And,
at Real Madrid.
And all his family, we're sitting there questioning his defensive abilities and what will happen. He'll be thinking that as well. But that's a new challenge for him.
But what I
admire players. I go, listen, good. If I was sitting with a player now and he's a chance, I'd be like, and I had these opportunities, I'd be saying, go for it.
But the thing about Liverpool supporters being disappointed right now, as you said, you can get all that. But as I said, the disappointment thing for me is like everything's there as if you're a Liverpool fan, if you're a Liverpool player, to like go on. But I've got okay, he wants to do something different. But what I don't hope happens is that this resentment carries on in terms of like, we hope he doesn't do well at Real Madrid. Because I love people from my own city doing well. And to see someone playing for, like, they are the biggest club in the world. So I'm disappointed from a Liverpool point of view. But once he's gone, I wouldn't want it to be like, I hope he has a nightmare, I hope he does this. I'd love
what if he's a bad game over the next few months, Jamie? That would be my issue. Will Liverpool fans turn on him very, very quick? We always talk about Liverpool fans having a bit of class with the away teams when they win over the years and they'd applaud them off or whatever. All that type. But you'd hate for him to, because that game, it was against United.
Yeah.
They're turning on that day.
You
could say they turn on most players after having a bad game. Obviously, they're going to get in his back, but you'd hate for it to get a real resentment towards the lad over the next few months.
I think they turned on him in that game, Roy, because I think they felt it was almost it wasn't so much a poor performance, it looked like a lack of energy and giving it apps. You remember one of the goals where it was like, he was war. I think it was more, back in, it wasn't so much, he's give a few balls away, it was more a case of actually, are you fighting for the league here with us type of thing? You're not already checked out, have you?
It looked to me like he was struggling that game. I don't know.
I think mentally,
there was definitely something. But that's why I never get turned on your own players, because you want your team to win, don't you? But there was definitely something that game, and I thought in that moment, if you're a football person, something's not right. Like, get behind him. Like, why then hammer him even more?
I want him to go. I want him to go and see the levels. I remember listening to Bex when Bex said when he got in the dressing room, he got there early. And the first people that came in, one was Ronaldo and then Zidane. That's what I want Trent to realise. Then he realised where he is and then he's got to go somewhere else, because this is what this is about. He wants to go, because Jamie, I hear what you're saying about, you know, being at Liverpool, wanting to beat the United Premier Leagues, wanting to try and catch Real Madrid, but he's thinking, I want to win the
Ballon d'Or.
Ballon d'Or. So he has to go in this dressing room and he has to make an impression. And this is what the challenge is for him. And this is why I think he wants it so badly.
I think the bit about underappreciated before, about there's definitely an underappreciation of him, I think, probably from an England perspective, because he doesn't play hardly at all. He's got good competition because of Kyle Walker, Reece James.
You keep saying this, Gary, right? No, I'm not trying to argue, but what I'm saying is, do you think he should play? What I'm saying is, he's the most talked about fullback
we'll come on about
we've ever spoke
we'll
about.
We'll come on
we
to
rave about him on the ball.
But Cara, I've got this thing that, to be fair, you only sometimes realise when their career's finished or when you look back. And I look back at some of the players that England have, to be fair, abused and ruined over a period of 25 years that would have played for every other country that basically win tournaments. When I think about England winning a tournament, which we haven't done for 70 years, whatever it is, right? We have to have great players on the ball in every single position. There's no other country would not play Trent Alexander-Arnold, in my opinion. Now, we're a country that've got good right-backs, let's be clear, but we will pick a defensively strong right-back, and we've probably fueled that as well around this table, over a lad that can pass a ball better than any player you've ever seen at that position. So my point is, I do feel like, and we'll come on to Foden shortly, who's another one that I can see going down the Scholes route of basically now being, he don't play the same for his club, and we're saying all the same things. These are players who, to be fair, should probably be appreciated more than they are. They're not. And only England can do that.
Hang on.
Only England could do that.
Happens in other countries.
You've consistently said Kyle Walker should be right back for England.
What do you mean I've consistently said?
For the last 10 years, like 6 or 7 years.
I've said we fuel the problem around this table.
Who's wrong then?
No, my point is that obviously Gareth wanted to pick Kyle Walker. I think we would probably all pick Kyle Walker around the table, but I think England are a country that do abuse players who have got unbelievable talent that other countries would even... They just get them in straight away.
What, Glenn Hoddle?
Eh?
Like the gaffer?
Glenn Hoddle, Paul Scholes...
Paul Scholes by a foreign manager. Wasn't even an English manager. It was Ericsson.
But England team, I'm not talking about who was the manager at that time. My point is we do have a habit of shooting ourselves in the foot with these talented players.
The new England manager said already he's about having the best team, not about the best players.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. He's obviously going to leave out a lot of talented players.
And then you say about Liverpool fans, I think Liverpool fans are a little bit quicker on him than they would be on someone like, say, Carragher or Stevie Gerrard or one of the other lads. No, but my point is that, to be fair...
Is that maybe his running style?
You think the crowds are quicker on Trent than they were on me?
No.
You are joking.
Cara, my point is I think there's a greater love towards you, Stevie, Robbie Fowler, than there is to... You know this, by the way. Are you denying it? Are you denying this? You don't think there's a... You don't think...
What about Michael Owen? You don't
Jamie, your point.
Michael's probably in the same... Michael's in the same sort of sphere as Trent.
Yeah.
That basically those two players don't get the same level of love from Liverpool fans.
Where are you getting this from? You've said it's come
No,
from
Jamie,
me.
no, sorry, can I just... Are you trying to make out the lads didn't get stick when they appreciate it?
He's got a big,
when they retired, maybe.
He's got a big mural outside Anfield.
Oh, you've all got fucking murals. Fucking, if you haven't got a mural in Liverpool, you fucking do it. Honestly.
The song for him, the Scouser in our team, I had to get to 27 before I got a song.
My point is, I think...
You're talking someone you don't know.
You don't think... I think you've been ignorant here now, because you don't think Liverpool... If I put a poll up tomorrow of Trent Alexander-Arnold, Michael Owen, you, Stevie, Robbie Fowler, I know who'd come in the bottom two. It'd be Trent Alexander-Arnold and Michael Owen.
Explain to me where you're getting this from. You don't live in Liverpool, you don't know...
OK, am I wrong?
But I think you're wrong.
OK.
There's no way...
Right, let's do a poll. Let's do a poll.
No.
Who do Liverpool fans love the most? Carragher, Owen, Gerrard.
I tell you what.
Let's do a poll.
Do the poll before the Real Madrid stuff started. Let's do that poll before the Real Madrid stuff started.
They were at him in January against United. They were at the...
He's been playing for Liverpool for 8 years.
Right, OK.
It is the loyalty.
Honesty.
I'm not saying they don't like him. I'm saying there's a little bit less love than there is for you. I'm not saying they don't like him. You're misreading this. I'm saying...
I can assure you, the love for Trent Alexander-Arnold as a player for Liverpool from the age of 18 to 26 was 10 times what it was for me from my age of 18 to 26. I can absolutely assure you of that one.
OK.
Jesus.
We all dream of a team of Carragher.
We'll go back
I got that when I was 28. We won the European Cup. Jeez, that's what it took for me.
Nice one.
Isn't it weird? But if he left for big money, the fans wouldn't be so bad. Isn't that a weird kind of concept to look at? Because he's leaving on a free, there's a bit more anger towards him.
Fucking hell. Most hated man in Liverpool knows everything about Liverpool. Go on.
I don't think I'm wrong in anything that I've just said in the last hour.
By what you're saying, Gal.
I think Gary Neville is absolutely on point. I think he makes a very astute observation, and I think Jamie Carragher has completely missed the point on that one completely. So basically, what Gary Neville was trying to say is, because of the English culture, it's not necessarily based around sort of tactics, being tactically astute, technically gifted, although we have had those technically gifted players, which is the point he's trying to make. England have never really built a team around those kinds of players. So it's interesting that they bring up Glenn Hoddle. Now, Glenn Hoddle played, I think it was a 3-5-2 formation. So it would be Adams, Campbell, and who was the third? I think he played Gary Neville, actually. It was Adams, Campbell, Gary Neville in the middle in defence. And then he played Beckham on the right, and he played Lasso on the left as, wing backs, so to speak. And then he had Scholes in the heart of it with, I think it was David Batty and Paul Ince. And then he had Sheringham and Shearer, and then Owen and Shearer up front. But that was the general gist. It might be slightly different there, but that was the general gist. But the team was built around the technical players. So it was built around Paul Scholes. Okay, and he loved Paul Scholes, and he was one of the first people to notice that Paul Scholes was, gifted midfielder. But ever since Glenn Hoddle left England, the team, although Paul Scholes played, the team was never built around him. It was just always about shoehorning in, all the biggest stars in English football under Ericsson, unfortunately. So they didn't quite have, the same balance. So England weren't tactically astute, right? Now, and so the point Gary Neville is making, only in England would that be the case. If Paul Scholes was Spanish or Italian or even German, the team would probably be built around Paul Scholes. Okay, so Paul Scholes would have fit into that Spanish team that won the 2 Euros and the World Cup. No problem at all. He was better than Xabi Alonso. Yeah, of course he was. He was at least as good in his prime as Xavi. So yeah, why not? He would have slotted really nicely into any of those Italian teams as well, because they had players just like him, like Pirlo, so, and Marquisio as well. He was a good player as well. So the point is, Trent is almost not really an English style player. He's very specific in what he can do, and he would suit a more tactically astute sort of situation on the pitch, system, so to speak. Now, I think he's going to Real Madrid because they're eyeing Xabi Alonso, right? So Real Madrid have been very good at thinking a couple of years ahead when it comes to their transfer dealings and whatnot. So, they got Vinny Jr., they got Rodrigo really early and developed them. They've got Endrick now that they're going to develop. They've had their eye on Jude Bellingham as well. And they had their eye on Gareth Bale back in the day and all of that good stuff, So they're probably doing the same thing with managers now, because they can't keep on swapping between Ancelotti and Zidane, and then back to Ancelotti and then back to Zidane again. And they know that Ancelotti's, getting on a little bit. And maybe Zidane doesn't want to come back. So they're probably thinking, right, well, who's the next best up-and-coming young manager? Well, it's Xabi Alonso. So they're looking at Xabi Alonso, who's a legend of Real Madrid. They're going to look at, they're going to see that he plays a nice 3-4-3 system. So let's build a squad that's based around that. And he's very tactically astute. He brought up in that Spanish, tiki-taka kind of system. Not necessarily tiki-taka, but, the tactically astute Spanish system anyway. So they're building a team around that, and the 3-4-3 formation is it hinders. It relies upon the full back positions, the wing backs. They need to be dynamic going forward and fit enough to track back all the time. Now they're after Alphonso Davies as well. So if they had Alphonso Davies and Trent, that creates a really nice balance in that team. So I think that's why he's going over there. And yeah, he probably would be more appreciated over there. in England, they still... I take their point in that, you know, England still does tend to favour a more defence-minded fullback. But that's only because we play 4-2-3-1. If we were playing 3-4-3, it might be a different kettle of fish. I think... I don't really think that Trent suits the English way of playing football, unfortunately. But yeah, there, I said it. That being said, I mean, I think he's going to get more games moving forward. But then again, they've got Reece James. Reece James is a good player as well. Yeah. I mean, who's a better player, Reece James or Trent? I mean, Reece James has been injury prone a little bit, so there is that component. But yeah, anyway, I digress a little bit. So, yeah, I think Trent's going over there, partly because he wants the new challenge, partly because he's one of his best mates is over there in Jude Bellingham, partly because he's going to get a big bumpy pay deal with the signing on fee, as well as, you know, probably going to get a wage increase as well. And also, they've probably assured him that they're getting Xabi Alonso in the next year or two, maybe even in the summer, and he will slot very nicely into that system, and that might sort of help, in his mind, help him stand out a little bit more in his pursuit for the Ballon d'Or, although I don't think he'll ever get the Ballon d'Or. Not in a team with Vinny Jr., Kylian Mbappe and Jude Bellingham. And then Hendricks coming through as well. He would need to become the best defender in the world, and even then, he probably wouldn't get a Ballon d'Or, because Paolo Maldini didn't get a Ballon d'Or. But there's absolutely no way he's getting a Ballon d'Or. I don't know, maybe if he got 35 assists from wing-back and scored a couple of goals and perhaps even, scored the winning goal in the Champions League final, then maybe. I can't see him winning a Ballon d'Or in a team with those players. But it would help his case because he would stand out a little bit more playing at wing-back in the Spanish League for Real Madrid. But anyway, what do you guys think? Thoughts in the comments as ever, and the Big D will see you in the next one.